他都不知道谈恋爱是什么滋味了，特别想找一个能理解他的人好好谈。
Today, as a special guest emotional counselor, I must speak to you from the heart. In today's society, some women who have been single for 5 or 6 years might not even remember what it feels like to be in a relationship. They desperately want to find someone who can understand them and have a meaningful relationship. But you need to understand, Mealy, I want to address you sincerely today. The kind of man you're looking for is already married. Do you know that? The perfect man in your mind is already someone else's husband. You must admit this. You still refuse to let go of your unrealistic dreams and argue with me. You say that the man you can appreciate is also appreciated by other young women. How can you compete? As a woman in her 30s, think about it. The man you can admire, other young women can also admire. Are you saying that only you have the discerning eye and that other young women are not smart? You are in competition. The kind of ideal man you want is also wanted by other young women, and such a man must be outstanding. You might say that your requirements are not high and that you're not looking for a wealthy second generation. However, no matter how you put it, the man that older single women admire is also admired by other young women. How can you compete? Secondly, the kind of man you admire is already married. He is not available, waiting for you. You are simply too late. Mealy, you really need to accept this reality. You have indeed wasted your time and you no longer have youth. Now, at 35, you can only look for a man who can accept you as you are. But such men will still be warm, loving, and caring. They are not inferior, it is you who cannot accept it. You still insist on finding someone you like. I think that is not up to you. Many young women also want the man of your dreams. Many young women pray for a Prince Charming, a young graduate in his late teens or early 20s. They haven't gotten him, so why should you? You should match with the right person. Attraction between people is mutual. You keep arguing with me, saying you'll stay single if you can't find your ideal man. Well, I tell you, if you stay single, you'll stay single for a lifetime. Are you prepared for that? Clearly, you are not prepared. You are not prepared to stay single for life. Each time you blow out the candles on your birthday cake, you are alone. On birthdays, there's no one to share them with you. In life, you have many things you want to say to a partner, but you don't have one. Some things you cannot share with your parents or your younger brother, they can only be shared with a boyfriend, but you don't have that boyfriend. You cannot express these things, you have no choice. So you should really reflect on yourself. Why has it come to this? You have never reflected on yourself, you are just stubborn. If you want to find a man you like, you must first prepare. Have you prepared yourself to accept a man you don't like? From not liking him to gradually liking him, you need to learn to like him. Even if you don't like him initially, you can slowly grow to like him. This is your only way out now.
你知道吗？现在让在广州的大龄女生们
Did you know? Do you know the most overwhelming moment for older single women in Guangzhou now? Actually, it is not being urged to get married by their families every day, nor is it because their social circles are too small and they are too busy with work to meet new people. The real moment of collapse for them is when they finally make up their minds to find a partner and go on blind dates with high hopes. After meeting one after another, they finally meet a guy who meets their expectations in all aspects. Their expectations are raised very high, thinking that they finally don't have to be alone anymore. However, they suddenly find that the guy they are satisfied with does not choose them in the end, but chooses a girl who is not as good as them in all aspects and is not even as pretty, but younger. What is more overwhelming than this? It is when they finally figure it out, are willing to lower their standards, give up being picky, and convince themselves to settle, only to find that the other party still does not fancy them. They originally thought that except for being slightly older, they were still good in other aspects. As long as they dressed up a bit and took the initiative, they would definitely find a partner. But they only found out that the blind date market in Guangzhou is very realistic. Time cannot go back, What is missed, and there is no regret medicine to take.
今年34岁的我找不到工作，又找不到合适的对象。
I am 34 years old this year. I can't find a job and can't find a suitable partner. I am very anxious and can't sleep through the night. I have been suffering from insomnia for 2 consecutive days. Now, I have no interest in doing anything. I don't know if it's my bad luck, but I find living really exhausting. People say that if you avoid housing loans, car loans, and the pressure to carry on the family line, you won't feel stressed. But I haven't taken any of these loans, including credit cards, yet there is an invisible pressure that suffocates me. Friends have advised me, saying that I have no goals in life, no responsibilities, no sense of duty. Because my parents are still in good health, I just want to accept their support and have no awareness of contributing to the family. I actually feel like I am depressed, but I don't have any extreme thoughts. I actually have a strong desire to contribute to and strive for my family, but I don't have a family. I am planning to go to Chongqing with my best friend next month to see if I can meet my other half there. Some people say that being single is great, you can chat with anyone you want and go wherever you want. I admit that I travel a bit frequently, I can go wherever I want, but I don't have a boyfriend to chat with.
Do you really think older single women are not anxious? Actually, I can tell you, they are very anxious. A friend of mine has been working in matchmaking for 15 years, and out of the older unmarried single women she has encountered, 9 out of 10 are particularly anxious. They now all know that if they don't get married soon, they might not have the chance to find a man of their own for the rest of their lives. Therefore, if older single women want to get married, they have to continuously lower their standards for men, from a PhD to a bachelor's degree, from a bachelor's degree to an associate's degree, from an annual income of 300,000 yuan to 150,000 yuan, and from 150,000 yuan to 100,000 yuan. Even if you lower these standards to the point where you start questioning your life, you will still find that these men don't buy into it. Men think that if they meet these conditions, they would go for a woman in her 20s. Who would want you, a woman in her 30s? Don't you think this is the truth?
我已经回来老家3天了。
I have been back in my hometown for 3 days. During these 3 days, no one has introduced me to any potential partners, and my parents haven't pressured me to get married. Everything seems quite peaceful. I am thinking that this is actually pretty good. If someone were to introduce a potential partner to me, I couldn't refuse, but going would also be uncomfortable because I am a rural person, and I don't want to marry into the countryside again. Moreover, the marriage market in our rural area is already saturated, especially for someone like me who is 39 years old and not seen as desirable anymore. In a big city, I might be more popular, but it's different in the countryside. People here have limited perspectives and think that women over 30 are unwanted. Even if someone introduces a partner, it would only be a divorced man with children. In the past, someone introduced me to a divorced man. If I went, it wasn't right, and if I didn't go, it wasn't right either. If I didn't like the person, people would think I had high standards and was too picky, deserving to be 39 and still unmarried, with all sorts of unpleasant comments. If the other person didn't like me, he would say, "You're already 39, almost menopausal, and still coming for blind dates?" All kinds of comments would arise. I don't want to marry into the countryside, so going on blind dates goes against my true wishes. That's why I've been particularly afraid to return to my hometown in recent years. When I come back, I don't dare to visit anyone. Whoever sees me asks all sorts of questions incessantly, making me very annoyed. Originally, I had good intentions bringing fruits to visit relatives, but after their questions, my mood would be completely ruined. Maybe only those of us who have experienced being older single women would understand. If I don't visit those relatives and friends, they would say, "Whose daughter returned to her hometown but didn't visit them, so impolite." Anyway, there are many things when returning to the rural hometown, so I prefer to stay alone in my room. Many people hear that I am still unmarried and come to our house to gossip, which is very annoying. Only staying in my room makes me feel the most comfortable. Now no one is pressuring me, and it feels really good.
90年已经34岁啦。
I was born in 1990, which makes me 34 years old now, and I'm still single. Do you think I really want to expose myself online and be judged by others? Actually, I don't want to, but there is truly no one around me who can introduce me to potential partners anymore. You suggest using social apps, but people will say, "Are you serious? Are you really looking for a partner here?" I make videos to find a boyfriend, and people will wonder, "Are you truly sincere?" It's really tough for me. In fact, I dream of finding a boyfriend quickly so I can update my daily couple routines, okay? Can everyone help me find a suitable partner so I can flaunt my love, please? Please.
将就我跟你说哈，如果说我这辈子没有找到合适的，我这辈子都不可能将就的。我宁愿怎么说呢？他们说的那句话叫啥？就是宁愿白菜烂在地里，我都不让这些猪来拱。我这辈子不能将就的。
你看一下那里哈，那个小姐姐7、8个男孩子围着她，看到没有？那个小姐姐身材又好，你看看你人到中年40来岁，我觉得你找一个40岁的男人，哪怕是人家是离婚的，你也可以去当后妈。你养人家小，人家养你老，大龄剩女的尽头就是去当后妈，你能够接受当后妈吗？
我不能接受，我宁愿我自己一个人过，我也不想随便的将就，这个将就不了，这辈子都将就不了。
你不将就也没有用啊！你不将就就能找到吗？能找到结婚的对象吗？我告诉你，你去找个离了婚的，你去跟他养孩子，你养人家小，人家养你老，而且孩子不是你的，老公是你的呀。很多大龄剩女最后都要嫁给二婚男人，其实二婚男人没那么可怕。刚才我在那边都看到好几个离了婚的男人，我觉得你可以找他们试一下。
不行，这个的话，我怎么说呢？我觉得我这辈子的话，我宁愿我自己一个人过去找个离婚的，那好麻烦的。人家万一把他的孩子养大了，然后人家的话又是不是跟我又不亲？我觉得还是自己生的要亲。
你首先你找一个离婚带娃的男人，他孩子不是你的，老公是你的，你们再生一个嘛，有个亲生的不就好了？怎么可能把孩子养大了不给你啊？
那不行，这个的话，我这辈子的话，
我觉得你没有什么行情了，你自己看一下哈，看一下那个位置。看到没有？我手指的那个方向，那个小姐姐，7、8个人像那个走草的狗一样围着她转，好多大龄剩男光棍围着他们，你看到没有？人家行情多好，你再看看你站在这里无人问津，算球了吧？我觉得你要求还是高，你不是正儿八经找的。
真的大龄相亲好难好难。
Dating at an older age is really tough. Especially as I get older, I encounter more and more unusual men, strange in every way, from appearance to character. I'm 37 years old this year. Recently, my mother came to Shenzhen to help me find a match. A few days ago, she met a man who is 5 years younger than me at Lianhua Mountain Park in Shenzhen. My parents thought his appearance was quite acceptable and he was good at conversation. He hit it off well with my father, and aside from not having money, he seemed quite decent in other aspects. So they decided to set up a meeting for us. Before meeting him, our conversations were quite smooth and pleasant. However, when we met for the first time, I set a small test for him. I asked him to meet me at the hotel lobby. He traveled from Luohu in Shenzhen to where I was staying, which took about an hour by subway. Moreover, he arrived at the hotel lobby 10 minutes early. He was very polite, asking if I needed something to drink and explaining in detail what drinks were available at the bar. But honestly, this guy had a fatal flaw that I found completely unacceptable. His appearance was average, around 6 out of 10, and he was 6 feet tall. He looked okay, but he didn't particularly attract me. His speech and manners were fine, and his IQ wasn't low either, but his emotional intelligence was very disappointing. During deeper conversations, he always tried to make me accept his views and show off how remarkable he was. Although he wasn't bad looking, he didn't catch my eye, and he didn't have a house, a car, and his job was ordinary with a pitiful income, struggling to make ends meet and barely supporting himself. He constantly demanded emotional support from me, asked me to compromise, and even hoped that I would look up to him. This behavior made me very speechless, so I decided to pass on him.
Where is the future of older single women? Don't think that they will find a suitable partner in a few years, especially those women who are still single at 38. Often, 90% of them will remain single. Let me tell you why. Many women in their early 20s treat dating as a game and never seriously consider marriage. By the time they are 25 or 26, when their friends start getting married one by one, they still feel they are young and don't need to rush. They believe that as long as they meet someone they like, they will get married. If not, they will play around for a few more years.
By the time they reach 27 or 28, having enjoyed enough fun, they start to feel anxious seeing their friends all married. They want to get married too, but it becomes difficult to find a partner because women at this age are the most picky. In their early 20s, they are often naive about love and more willing to marry for love. But by 27 or 28, they have been brainwashed by various Korean dramas, self-help books, and luxury ads, thinking they are well-informed and unwilling to listen to others, believing they understand the true essence of happiness. By the time they turn 30, with friends and classmates' children already around, they become even more anxious. Previously, they waited for suitors, but now they start to actively seek arranged marriages. However, when they enter the matchmaking market, they find it hard to find suitable partners. Most of the desirable men are already married before the age of 30, while men with less favorable conditions, who couldn't find partners when they were younger, now tend to look for younger women as their careers improve. Men always prefer younger women, making it difficult for women in their 30s to be considered. Older women may find that the men who can converse with them are often those with poorer conditions, older, or divorced. Some even consider second marriages and becoming stepmothers. Some say that women over 30 who are very beautiful will have many suitors. I don't quite agree with this. If you are truly beautiful, you would have already gotten married and not wait until your 30s. Some women who think they are beautiful might have misjudged their appearance, with false confidence clouding their judgment. They repeatedly face disappointment in arranged marriages and may eventually, at 38, no longer feel anxious, becoming accustomed to single life and believing that happiness can be found in being single. All of this is related to capital. Capital leads women to lose themselves through various means, flattering them and ruining what could have been a happy life. In order to make money, capital promotes products and brainwashes girls, leading most women into a predicament. This will result in a new group in society over the next 10 to 20 years, single old women.